The language matrix method for learning foreign languages uses a system of belt colors similar to those of a martial arts school, such as jujutsu or kung fu, to assess students' levels and determine the most beneficial mode of training at each level. Beginning at white belt, the student starts to climb the mountain toward the green belt level, at which point they will have become conversational in the language. From green belt, the student descends the other side of the mountain toward black belt. The reason that the process is imagined as climbing up the hill then descending the other side is because once the student has become conversational, the language learning process becomes more and more automatic. The more you speak, the more you learn, and the more you learn, the more you can speak. A positive feedback loop, like a snowball rolling down a hill. The white belt level is identified by its core principle, the conversation tree. The conversation tree is a method for answering questions provided by the teacher. The format of questions and answers is inspired by the military linguistics method of OPI training. The OPI is an evaluation in which the evaluator asks a series of questions to test a military linguist's level in a language. Our method for answering questions at the white belt level uses the conversation tree concept, in which sentences are formed and ideas are expressed by mixing and matching verbs and vocabulary. At the white belt level, the teacher asks the student questions, and the student is required to answer the question via the conversation tree. At the red belt level, the student continues the process of answering questions using verb starting points, but now the student can express ideas from the past, present, and the future as demonstrated on the verb timeline. At the orange belt level, the person can use the target language to define other words in the target language. For example, a teacher is a person who teaches, a school is a place where you learn, and a book is a thing that you read. This is called circumlocution. At the yellow belt level, the student can express ideas and have conversations in all of the tenses and aspects available to them in the language. The tense aspect matrix is like a control panel of buttons or perhaps a piano upon which the student can play. At the top of the mountain, the student is now conversational and can have their entire session in the target language. The blue belt level involves free conversation, and the teacher simply suggests ways to improve the student's language in the categories of accent, pronunciation, grammar, vocabulary, and useful expressions. At indigo, the student can control the complexity of their thoughts at will. For example, they can summarize a complex concept into a few sentences or less. And likewise, they can elaborate and talk in depth on any point. The ability to expand and contract the level of detail within their responses is the essence of the indigo belt. The violet belt, second before black, is when the student can speak while making things up from their imagination. Black belt. The student's personality, including accent, gestures, attitude, resembles that of a native speaker. 9 degrees of black belt. As of May 2024, the 9 degrees of the black belt are not officially defined, but possible ideas include writing poetry in the target language, negotiating, NLP or hypnosis, overcoming social anxiety, stand-up comedy, songwriting, and creative writing. Finally, after holding the rank of black belt for 30 years, the student dons the coral belt. This system, inspired by military linguistics and the OPI, is taught exclusively by the language matrix and legacy idiomas.